TikTok when I dance. On that demon time, she might start her OnlyFans. Big B and that B stand for bands. If you wanna see some real ass, baby, here's your chance. I say left cheek, right cheek, drop it low this swing. Texas up in this thing, put you up on this game. I be parking my frame, gang, 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 gang. If you don't jump to put jeans on, baby, you won't feel my pain.
Hello everybody, and welcome to 31 Days of Hell, episode 8. In today's episode, I would like to share with you some stories that I found on Reddit, and the post is on the subreddit Ask Reddit. The link will be in the description below if you'd like to read more of the stories. And today I will be sharing with you Reddit users' scariest things that they've ever witnessed in their lives. User Frick You Fricker says, I was the sole witness to a murder. I've told this story before. I was in a Jeep with the top down waiting for two guys on the sidewalk to stop talking. One guy pulls a shank out of his sock and stuffs it, stiff-armed, into the other's eye. The crunch was sickening. He took off. I ran up. Blood was spurting out of the dude's face onto the sidewalk in spurts. Long story short, dead by the time the ambulance showed up. I was going to testify in court, but the other dude pled guilty and got 20-ish years, I believe. It was a long time ago. Not long enough for me to get that sound, though. For me to forget that sound, though. User Oxford Llama replied, I witnessed someone get shot and killed. It changes you. User Tidanud says, this is a bit of a different take on creepy. When I was about 12, I accidentally went off-piste, if that's how you say it, on a ski run and got a bit lost. I found myself on a flat expanse. I skied in the direction of a massive board that I assumed was a sign offering directions, but the lettering was on the other side. When I got round to face it, it was a danger sign, warning people not to go near the lake due to thin ice. In brackets, this is Australia. It's not cold enough to produce reliable ice. I realised I could have simply disappeared, and perhaps no one would have ever found out what happened to me. User Early Needle Worker said, my wife and I saw a guy jump off of a parking garage. We didn't know he was up there until he hit the ground about 30 feet in front of us. It was horrible. User Yosemite_Sam 9099 says, went to bed in a hotel room with the balcony door open because it was hot. Had a bad dream of a guy in a red checked shirt peering into the room, entering and eating ice cream at the end of the bed. When I woke up, I discovered a half-melted banana-coloured ice cream between the bed and the wall. User Ijandro says, when I was about 6 or 7, I woke up in the middle of the night to a faint sound of what seemed like someone stacking plates in the kitchen. Every couple of minutes, with the location of my bedroom door giving me a direct view of the kitchen entrance and part of the kitchen. I opened it and peeked my head to see what was going on. To this day, I swear I remember just seeing some old woman, sunken eyes, gaping mouth, completely wide open, head turned almost 90 degrees, just staring at me. Not even moving. What's even more frightening is the sound suddenly stopping as I did this. While I'm sure it could have just been my eyes struggling to adjust and merely shapes, the longer my eyes adjusted, the more vivid this person became. I just remember staring right back, not moving for what felt like several minutes. I decided to make a break from my parents' bedroom, which was across from my bedroom. I told them what happened, and they checked and confirmed nothing was there. Fortunately, we were scheduled for an early flight to visit family, so everyone decided to get up. I'm sure it could have just been the young mind playing tricks. Nevertheless, I'll never forget that face. User Tired and Stupid 82 says, I was staying at my sister's when I was 14 and had a horrible nightmare about being strangled by the devil. I could only see his face smiling at me and feel a crushing sensation on my throat. I told him to fuck off and swung a punch. And then I woke up. I looked over and it was about 1 a.m. The next morning, my sister was complaining that she had a really horrible nightmare that the devil was strangling her. I asked her what time this happened, and she said, around 1 o'clock. If that story isn't creepy, I don't know what is. Final story. Suvan Pan, the user Suvan Pan, says, I was living in a rental house 10 years ago. The back door was leading to a narrow enclosure adjacent to which was the neighbour's house. Their bedroom was right next to it. There was a light bulb socket in that small backyard, but I never used that place for anything, so I never put a bulb there. At night, that place always remained very dark. One day, my neighbour told me they could hear movements in my backyard like someone jumping down from the wall onto the concrete ground. They said it happened on multiple occasions and they think it was probably a thief. So I brought a CFL bulb and went to put it there. The socket was very high and I had to stand on a tall wooden stool to reach there. That night, before I went to bed, I switched it on. The switch next to the bulb inside my house and checked the backyard, which was now fully illuminated. The next morning, I didn't go to the backyard and just switched off the light before going to work. On the second night, when I switched it on before going to bed, there was no light. It remained dark. I tried multiple times, but there was no light. I thought the bulb was defective, but was scared of the dark and the thief, so I didn't want to check that night and decided to check it in the morning. When I went there in the morning, the bulb was not in the socket. First I thought the thief stole it, but then I saw the bulb was on the ground and completely undamaged. There was no way it could have survived a fall from that high, and why would the thief not take the bulb with them? I took the bulb inside and checked. The bulb was working fine. I put the bulb back in the socket and went to work. It was the third night when I switched on the bulb and it was working. I went to bed. It was around 3 a.m. I went to the back door and slightly opened it to see if the bulb was still working. It was pitch dark. I closed the door quickly and went to sleep. Next morning, found the bulb on the ground again, undamaged. I avoided going to the backyard as much as possible from that day and didn't attempt to put any bulb there again. There was no incident of theft that happened in my neighbourhood as far as I know. Somebody left a reply. Zach Lego Maniac Dies replied saying, "Hey, maybe a neighbour couldn't sleep with your new bulb keeping them up. They just were too shy to say anything." If that's the case, that's very rude because that is someone's personal property and you're interfering with it. Anyway, that's enough of my opinions. Thank you very much for listening to these creepy stories, and I will be banging out as many videos as possible, a total of 31, before the end of this month, and I will try as hard as possible to do this. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you all have a great day.